Hi, welcome back to the Spirit's Path. This is Dee, and today's tarot card of the day out of the Wildwood Tarot deck is the Knight of Vessels and the Eel. And I got excited when this card came up because, this card is all about intuition and emotions, right? And it comes on the heels of the other knight, the horse. So I was like, all right, how are these two knights going to interact with each other? What's the story here? Because as you're being carried on your spiritual path, you're letting the horse guide you, right? And, as he's guiding you, he decides to take a drink of water, next to this stream. And this eel slides up. And, again, to me, the knights are fighter tacticians. And this one is, just like the horse, all right? They're going to be more tactful in fighting. Okay, because they want to keep, the eel wants to keep his emotions in check, right? And both of these are that you starting on a quest, of something going on. Okay, now the eel is seen as a wise protector. And part of that is he's got that sword, sitting in a stone. So he can take up the sword if he likes and be a fighter, but he'd much rather swim through the reeds, okay, and get to the way he, where he needs to get. All right. They're all about purity, right? Wisdom, maturity, and they like to express their deep feelings. So if you run across somebody that's a person in your life, they're going to be somebody who will give you that deep feeling of how they, what's going on, how they feel about something. But they're going to do so in a cultured way, right? They're going to be sensitive to other people's needs. They're going to use their imagination. All right. And they're going to know the dream world very well. Okay. They're going to understand that as you're kind of, sitting on the horse and just kind of, in a daydream. Okay. They're going to understand more about your dream than you will. Okay. And they're also going to guide you with those messages from the dream world. Right. They're going to be very seductive. They're going to be a very smooth talker. If this is a person or if this is you, as an aspect or, a characteristic of the seal. And then, if this is an aspect, it's finding agreement, coming to terms with, again, that tactician that he plays. All right. And the horse is, just sitting there, looking at the water going, okay, slow and steady is here. This guy is going to say, what? Slow and steady is on the right path for you. All right. Just keep moving forward, slow and steady. Moving in and out of the reeds, okay? And if you got to take up that sword, take it up, okay? And there's going to be a lot of harmony, all right? The horse is not startled by the eel, okay? They kind of have, there's no conflicting energy. It's really balanced and really harmonic, right? And this eel is also going to have you look within, just like the horse did yesterday. And one of the questions that he's going to ask is, where are your emotions running high? And you're thinking about that, in that dreamy state, and you're like, what? My emotions aren't really that high. Yes, the blasted oak, I've been hurt, right? That just fell off with this card. There may be some jealousy going on, but I'm not really too worried about it because I feel like I'm being blessed. I'm looking within based on the hooded man that's down here, and I know the universe and the green man have my back. So the emotions really aren't running high. If anything that's running high, it's my journey that I'm on. The excitement. I may not show that excitement as I'm moving forward, as you're talking to the eel, but at the same time, there's a little anxiety going on as to, I don't really know where I'm going. I'm just kind of letting the horse lead the way. And, the eel goes, maybe if you focus a little bit more, look inward, okay, and listen to what that hooded man had to say to you. Okay, that will provide you with some more direction of what's going on. So, while there's some anxiety, happening of, I really don't know where to go, the answer is to look within. The answer is to say, okay, where am I not meeting those emotions? Where is that psychic ability leading me? Where is it that I need to be that wise protector within my family, within my relationship, for myself, for my own spirit, and then, even at work. And, maybe there's something going on with a significant other or, in a relationship or at work Because the other question he asks is, where do you need to express things sensitively? You know, maybe there's that little thing that's just eating you. Your emotions aren't running high. You're just looking at it going, you know, I really don't understand the situation. I don't want to get involved in the situation. But, you know, everybody's all bent out of shape with this, you know, new move, or, you know, even in a relationship. You know, so-and-so just seems like they're, you know, irritated. Okay, you can have conversations with other people, right? If it's in a relationship and you feel the vibe is wrong, you know, just go up to that person and say, hey, are you and I okay? You know, was there something, you know, said? And if they say, no, everything's fine, you know, why do you ask? It just seems like something's off. Like, you know, there's just, you know, if I've offended you or something like that, please let me know. Or, you know, if something's going on, please let me know. No, it's not. I got a lot of things outside of work that I'm thinking about. So, you know, they may say something like that. But, you know, when you need to express things sensitively, you know, on a one-on-one matter, whether it's at work or at home, use that kind of tone to say, you know, hey, is everything all right between you and I? Because if your intuition is picking up something on that, if your feelings are picking up on something on that line, you know, chances are they're either going to tell you the truth or they're going to hide it. But it wouldn't surprise me that if you know, kind of backdoor it and just say, hey, you know, I just feel this vibe that, you know, something's not working. Or on the opposite end, you know, hey, I'm glad that you know, is there anything I can help on you know, with stuff that's going on the outside? No, I got it. Okay, fine. Well, I hope you have a great day. And, you know, if you need somebody to talk to, I'm here to listen. You could go that way as well, right? And that way, you know, you don't offend anybody, but you let them know that you're available if you're there. You know, maybe you help them on their spiritual path. You know, because the universe and spirit puts us in different positions of teaching and learning, and sometimes it's both, right? But if you show that compassion, you show that empathy, you show that you know, that you care for people, you know, they'll see the true you, they'll see the genuineness, and they'll understand, you know, where you're coming from, you know, to help them with their spiritual path, and or you know, however they want to look at it. You know, a lot of times if you just treat people with kindness, you'll get kindness back. You know, and as a result, you know, you might be walking around in the world and it's like, you know, man, that's the happiest guy in the world. And they're like, yeah, you know what? He's a good dude. You know, hey, she's a good, you know, good person. And, you know, people see that. People see that light that you have, you know, while you try to take on that wise protector of everybody. While you try to take on that, you know, carrying everybody else's load, right? Where do you need to push through to the finish, right? So you look at what's going on within, all right? And then you try to spread that joy and that happiness out to everybody else while you're walking your spiritual path. And then once they start aligning with those concepts, you know, you continue to learn, you continue to teach, you just continue to move forward. So that's today's card of the day out of the Wildwood Tarot deck, that Knight of Vessels, that eel. Hit that like button for me, subscribe to the channel, share with others, give me a thumbs up. And this is D for Spirit's Path. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Take care, God bless, and stay safe, everybody.